Live from WSIL TV in high definition, this is News 3.
We discovered that someone had tampered with a switch. At some point, a train coming in there would have derailed.
Tonight, a sobering reminder that trains are vulnerable targets for terrorists and vandals. Good evening. That story in a moment, but first a reminder that yesterday our station was struck by lightning and we're still experiencing some technical difficulties. It knocked out our signal, internet, phones, and more. Our engineers have been working around the clock to get us back to 100%. Those on Dish Network HD or Mediacom should now be receiving a clear signal. Others will see a partial signal. We ask for your patience. You can view our evening newscast streamed online. They'll also be available on YouTube later tonight. You can access both formats through our website, WSILTV.com. Now to our top story. Amtrak and law enforcement are putting new safety measures in place after someone tried to tamper with a train switch in Iowa. That one act could have caused a derailment and massive explosion. Officials are now ramping up their efforts to control the potential danger. ABC's TJ Winnick explains.
Menlo, Iowa may be the last place in America described as a high-profile target. But it was here, 30 miles southwest of Des Moines, that an apparent plot was hatched to derail a freight train full of flammable ethanol.
They were here all morning, and they were taking fingerprints and so forth where the damage occurred.
Doris Harwood's house sits right in front of the train switching station that was tampered with. Saboteurs broke a lock off the box and shifted the tracks. According to the FBI, it could have resulted in a potential inferno and environmental disaster.
It's bone-chilling that something like that could happen in the middle of a town. That's not something we normally go through there at 40 miles per hour. So the effects could have been devastating.
Authorities do not suspect terrorism. Still, just last month, we learned Osama bin Laden was urging al-Qaeda to derail a U.S. passenger train on the 10th anniversary of 9/11. Yesterday on Capitol Hill, Amtrak's chief of police told a Senate committee that Amtrak is expanding rail security measures.
Training our employees in how to spot suspicious behavior and activity.
Passengers will see more patrols on bridges, tunnels, and the areas surrounding tracks, expanded air and water patrols near the rails, and Amtrak is also working to add more sensors and cameras to monitor for intrusions. While Amtrak is focusing on the Northeast Corridor, its busiest route, security is being increased along more than 20,000 miles of rail. TJ Winnick, ABC News, New York.
Many of those rail lines run directly through small towns throughout southern Illinois. News 3's Evie Allen talked with local authorities about how they prepare for possible incidents like this. Evie?
That's right, Mark. Officials in Perry County say there's a lot of factors that go into managing a train-related emergencies. They say precautions should be taken on and off the tracks. In the case of a derailment, a major factor is the type of cargo the train is carrying. If it's a hazardous material, local and state officials act fast to notify the public if an evacuation is needed. For passenger trains, officials say paying attention to emergency exit and instructions are key to public safety. Perry County's EMA coordinator David Serby says that they always have a plan for major and minor emergencies.
It's not just the major incident, like what if there's a derailment, because that could be very severe. But again, we plan for in emergency management, you know, the worst case scenario, but does that typically also cover the minor emergencies, which you always try to do too?
I also talked with a spokesperson for Union Pacific today. Mark Davis says that both employees and passengers need to keep an eye out for suspicious behavior.
Any theft or act of aggression against the railroad is a threat to not only the railroad itself, but then the commodities, goods, and if it is Amtrak or a passenger, the people.
And you have some examples of suspicious behavior that people should be on the lookout for, correct?
That's right. Officials say that you should pay attention to any bags that are left unattended, you know, people standing around and then leaving, and anybody that looks suspicious kind of around the train that doesn't look like they belong there.
Some common sense ideas.
Right. Just things to keep an eye out and look out for.
All right. Thank you, Evie. A temporary disaster recovery center opened today in Cairo. The center is located at Emerson Elementary School. Flood victims are able to speak face-to-face with disaster relief specialists. They're offering disaster relief information, assistance with paperwork, and small business loans. FEMA's Sam Ventura says those victims have been through a lot, and FEMA is there to help.
They've gone through a traumatic period with flooding in their homes, and so they're concerned. And we want to make sure that somehow that we can help, make those concerns a little less for them on the thing. So that's why we're here.
The center is open until June 21st. It will shut down, then reopen Wednesday, June 29th through July 5th. Cairo officials are still assessing what city repairs are needed. Damage to city streets and sewers is estimated at nearly $900,000. The city's mayor, Tyrone Coleman, wants to turn the sand boil site into a historical monument. He also says going forward, the city's pump and levee system needs more attention.
They worked, but there were still just some things that needed to have been done over the years that had not taken place. And we want to make for certain that those things are corrected.
Monday, FEMA declared Alexander and 20 other Illinois counties eligible for federal aid. That money will help fund repairs to streets, bridges, and utilities. Crews are working around the clock to beef up a secondary levee outside of Hamburg, Iowa. They hope the temporary earthen barrier will hold back floodwater from the Missouri River, which has already breached the main levee. If not, the town could soon be under 10 feet of water. Meanwhile, South Sioux City, Nebraska is flooding as the Army Corps of Engineers releases water through a dam to ease the swollen Missouri River. In that area, there are about 24 cities and towns dealing with flooding. In tonight's Crime Watch, White County authorities are trying to track down thieves who stole thousands of dollars worth of farming equipment. Sheriff Doug Meyer says the thieves took irrigation equipment worth $10,000. It was stolen from a farm near Hawthorne Township in rural White County. The system was brand new, still in crates. The sheriff says these types of crimes have happened before in his area, but will not be tolerated.
When we catch somebody, they're going to pay a pretty serious price. The farmers are out here trying to make a living, and when they get these irrigation systems, it's not only the money that they lose, but they're down for that period of time. They can't get the water on the crops.
The Sheriff's Department is also investigating a theft near Crossville, where someone stole 75 feet of copper wire from a transformer at a power substation. Lawmakers continue to try and hammer out a deal to raise the nation's credit limit and work out significant budget cuts. Vice President Joe Biden was optimistic after yesterday's meeting, but his fellow Democrats are drawing a hard line when it comes to cuts in Medicare. ABC's Karen Travers reports.
Today's negotiating session on the debt ceiling ended with no signs of a deal and no comments from key members of Congress. Vice President Biden said yesterday the group hopes to present a draft agreement to congressional leaders by the July 4th recess. He expressed confidence that a deal to cut about $1 trillion from the deficit over the next 10 to 12 years is within reach. But Republicans insist that at least $2.5 trillion in cuts is needed to get them on board to raise the debt ceiling. After more than a half dozen meetings, the two sides are still at a standoff. Democrats have ruled out any cuts to Social Security benefits or Medicare.
Their plan is wrong. Seniors can't afford it. The vast majority of the American people, including most Republicans, do not support changing Medicare as we know it.
And Republicans have said they will not agree to any tax increases.
I would be surprised, frankly, if we get into the tax issue in the Biden discussions leading to a vote on the debt ceiling.
But could there be flexibility on the broader issue of taxes? Last night, 34 Republicans voted to end billions of dollars in tax credits for ethanol blenders. Democrats said today that vote could indicate that some Republicans may not be so rigid when it comes to tax increases.
Today, the White House said the talks have made progress, but it hasn't been easy, and nobody is sitting around that negotiating table laughing it up. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
A quick reminder, we're continuing to work out technical problems after a lightning strike to our station yesterday morning. Some viewers are still experiencing audio and video issues. We hope to have those repaired as soon as possible. What a better way to spend a hot day than at the public pool? What can we expect weather-wise for the rest of the week? Jim's forecast next.
Putting accuracy first, this is News 3 weather.
We have seen more scattered thunderstorms around today. I've seen several reports come in of large hail up to around quarter size. And we've seen a few reports come in of wind gusts, but no reports of any real wind damage. Those thunderstorms now exiting our region, moving across the Wabash into southern Indiana. But we saw most of the activity, or at least most of the reports I got, coming in from around Tunnel Hill in Johnson County, and then parts of Wayne County and White County, also seeing the strong storms. This is, I believe, along the last boundary to move through, that once it's completely gone through the region, things are going to quiet down for about one day. That's about it, but the chance for thunderstorms really drops off tomorrow, and some slightly cooler air should move in. I think we're starting to see some of that in Mount Vernon at 82, over around Rolla we're seeing it at 82 degrees. Everyone else has been hot, at least at one point today. Poplar Bluff still is, with a temperature currently of 94 degrees. All the reports coming in from the airports from the top of the hour. Chicago is once again in the cool air at 66, Indianapolis 73, even Kansas City 85, Omaha 83, but liberal Kansas reporting 93 degrees, Little Rock at 98. And it does look like the heat will start to roll back in here by the time we get to the weekend. But tomorrow we're behind the weak cold front, and then it will come back as a warm front on Friday, and that will bring back the chance for scattered thunderstorms as well. Satellite imagery right now, pretty easy to pick up that back edge. Again, we saw what was happening on radar, and just as quickly as the thunderstorms are moving out, the clouds are moving out as well. Should be a mostly clear night. I think we'll see a lot of sun tomorrow. Tomorrow may be a day where temperatures in the afternoon really kind of take a spike because of all the sunshine, but humidity levels should be down, and even if it does warm up, should be a little more comfortable today. Today has been a very warm one, and with the humidity in the front passing through that little line of thunderstorms showing up, there's the cold front we're talking about. And back behind it, Minneapolis is 66, and out around Bozeman, 64 degrees. Our almanac for today at the bottom, low of 68 this morning, a high of 92 before the slightly cooler air started to roll this direction. Skycast by 7 o'clock showing most of the thunderstorm activity off to our east, and showing a clearing line that is way off according to what's on right now. So we know the model is off just a little bit, but it shows that clearing line sweeping on through. Tomorrow mostly sunny, and by the time we get to Friday, the chance for scattered storms rolling back in with clouds and the isolated activity sticking around off and on all the way through Friday, and then all the way through the weekend as well. Temperatures as we look ahead to tomorrow, midday, early afternoon, only into the mid-80s. Cycle through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you see the warming trend rolling back in as it looks like our afternoon temperatures for the weekend will roll back into the 90s. For tonight, the few storms early and then clearing later on tonight. Low temperature maybe down to 64. Very comfortable start tomorrow. Partly cloudy tomorrow afternoon, high around 89. Friday brings back a chance for a few storms, and actually there are two chances showing up on Friday, one morning and one afternoon. Saturday, kind of isolated storms, and by the time we get to Sunday, I think the chance for storms will drop off, but the heat and humidity will not. They're actually expected to go back up.
A hot Father's Day.
Looks like, yeah.
And you and our engineer staff have been working extra hard the last day or so. The engineers trying to get us back on air, and you trying to correct weather equipment that was hit hard by lightning yesterday. You lost everything yesterday.
Almost every computer in the weather service or in our weather center was destroyed or damaged to the point where we have to get a lot of parts in. We're still not back up to 100%. Our WeatherNet computers, all of them have been destroyed. We're waiting on parts to get those repaired. The internet coming back up today helped a lot. We get so much information through the internet, and one of our data reception computers, we got a new one in this morning. Companies overnighting a lot of equipment to us. So we are slowly coming back. Actually, I shouldn't say quickly, coming back up to speed just about a day later. But we're still not back to 100%, but we should be within a day or two.
That sounds good. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jim. A major food fight appears to be over in L.A. The loser, chocolate milk. More on what this celebrity chef says the ban will do for growing kids next. How was that?
You're watching News 3 in HD, your Southern Illinois news leader, with Mark Kiesling, meteorologist Jim Razor, and Darren Kennard.
Again, we understand for many of our viewers, our signal is somewhat compromised tonight. That's because our station took a lightning strike yesterday. Mediacom and Dish HD customers should be back to normal, but those with DirecTV or other cable services are still having trouble receiving our signal. Our engineers continue to work on repairing the damage. They are working to correct the audio and video issues while also waiting for replacement equipment. We appreciate your patience during this time, but you don't have to miss the news. We'll be uploading our newscast to our website, WSILTV.com. A longtime childhood favorite is banned. The Los Angeles School District is getting rid of chocolate and strawberry flavored milk in a move to combat childhood obesity. ABC's Diana Alvear has more on the move in tonight's To Your Health.
Bye-bye chocolate milk and so long strawberry milk. The Los Angeles Public School Board voted to ban flavored milk from schools starting July 1st. A few months after celebrity chef Jamie Oliver criticized the school system's menu on his show, Food Revolution.
This is just 1 week's worth for just lunch. There's more sugar in that than your friendliest brand of soda. Put your hands up if you didn't know that as parents.
Appearing with Oliver on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, the new superintendent vowed to improve school lunches, and the ban was his idea. But not all board members were on board.
I don't really understand why we're letting the TV chef dictate our policy.
So why the fuss over flavored milk? Nutrition experts say forget claims about vitamins and calcium. They're concerned that the typical half pint of whole chocolate milk has 208 calories and nearly 24 grams of sugar. Compare that to 88 calories and 22 grams of sugar in a half pint of an average cola. While kids seem to love it,
it feels like I'm eating a Hershey bar in a Milky Way.
Critics say children shouldn't be the ones making decisions about healthy eating.
It's just like saying, listen, kids don't have enough fruit. They don't like apples. Feed them apple pie.
The hope is if flavored milk is off the table, kids will choose what's left.
And it seems it's becoming a national trend. Los Angeles joins school systems in Boulder, Colorado, Berkeley, California, and Washington, D.C. in banning flavored milk. Diana Alvear, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan is warning consumers to avoid using fuel gels in outdoor fire pots. The fuel has the potential to cause life-threatening burns. 14-year-old Michael Hubbard is struggling for his life. He was badly burned when he poured fuel gel into a wickless ceramic fire pot before the flame was completely out. The jar exploded.
It's a bomb. It's a bomb in a bottle. The gel, it appears, have done basically stuck to his skin, and even after the flames were out, the gel continued to cause ongoing damage until he was able to be decontaminated.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission is now investigating fire gel products. There could soon be a nationwide ban or recall on all such products. Still ahead on News 3, tonight's sports news with Kelly Burke. But first, tonight's Stumper.
This is News 3 Sports in HD.
The Miners bullpen got one man shorter today. Reliever Corey Cowsert was picked up by the New York Yankees and leaves tomorrow for the rookie Gulf Coast League in Florida. Cowsert had a .55 ERA in 11 games for the team this summer. Tonight, the Miners will go for their 6th straight win and a sweep of second-place Florence. The Miners tagged one of the Frontier League's top pitchers for 4 runs last night in the 4-3 win. Ryan Zink is scheduled to start on the mound this evening. First pitch set for somewhere around 7:05. Well, SIU men's basketball announced their non-conference schedule for next season. Salukis open with Division II Ohio Dominican. The Dogs also renew regional rivalries with SLU and Western Kentucky. SIU plays 4 non-conference road games, starting with Northeastern. And of course, the highlight of the Dogs' schedule is the Diamond Head Classic in Hawaii over Christmas. The pairings for that tournament have not yet been announced. And finally, your Stumper Stanley Cup Finals finish up tonight. We wondered how many Game 7s have there been since the NHL lockout, including tonight's game. The answer is 3. Back in 2006 between Edmonton and Carolina, and again in 2009 between Pittsburgh and Detroit. And of course, Mark, we'll see how tonight's big Game 7 plays out.
Looking forward to it. Now I want to know how much arm twisting is going on back in the sports department to see who gets to follow the Salukis to Hawaii when they travel there.
I think we would all voluntarily go. I think Darren has the seniority right now, and he's kind of already called the trip. So.
All right.
But I'll be waiting in the wings just in case he gets sick or something.
Thanks, Kelly. We'll be right back.